Hello, everybody, and welcome to Makeover Monday 2021 Week 3 Watch Me Viz. Very interesting data set this week. And for those of you that have been around for a long time, you will know that this has been a data set that we've used before. So back in, it was either 2015 or 2016, we used the same data set. So let's start by looking at the original visualization. So let me see. Really fantastic. It's by Eric Roston and Blackie Migliozzi, I guess. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that name, but it's really interesting the way that they looked at different factors that could have potentially impacted climate change. So their data uses an 1880 to 1910 average, but the data set that we are using is, I believe it's 1951 to 1980 average, if I remember right. So they just go through a series of factors and determine, is it Earth's orbit that changes that is causing the warming Earth? No, it's not. Is it maybe the sun? Again, no, it's not. Is it volcanoes? So has there been any increase in volcanic activity that would increase the global temperature? No. And then they go through those three combined. You can still see the answer is no. All right, so what about deforestation? So it's nothing natural. So deforestation? Nope. So now we're looking at things that are man-made. Ozone? Nope. Aerosol pollution? Nope, that's actually going down. Is it really greenhouse gases? Well, it looks like it probably is, right? So greenhouse gases. All right, and then you can actually go through each of these different what I really like is this final visualization where you can actually go through and pick all of the different factors. It's really, really cool. Anyway, fantastic visualization. I wish we had the data for each of the different factors, but I couldn't find that. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. So first thing I'm going to do is look at the data, and I can see that we have the hemisphere. There's a global number, and then there's let's see, each you've got, let's say, northern and southern hemisphere. So I need to actually bring up the data set myself, and you can see I've connected to it on Tableau here. So we have a column for the hemisphere, and then we have a column for the year, and a series of columns for each month. Now, at the end of the data set, we see 6 columns that I know some people had questions about, which really, really surprised me that people couldn't figure out what those mean. J through D means January through December. D through N means December through November. DJF would be December, January, February, and then March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Now, again, I'm not quite sure how people couldn't figure those out. But and the data that we see in here represents the deviation from the 1951 to 1980 mean. So they're using a 30-year average that you're comparing against. So I don't care about these columns on the end. So the first thing I'm going to do is highlight these and then hide them. So that's the easiest thing to do to start off. 1 second. Just want to make sure I can still see your comments on here. Okay. So, and then what I want to do is I want to have a column for the month. So I'm going to select each of these columns. Come on. Come on. I'm not quite sure why they're numbers right now, but I'm going to go ahead and pivot those. And I'm going to rename this as month. And then this is my, this is, what will we call this here? We would call this our, I guess this would be the temperature change, I believe is what we should call it. Okay, let me go back to the original and let's see. So what are they calling it here? I just want to make sure that we're looking at the right. Okay, so we could go. All right. Okay, let me just go to the Makeover Monday data set. Makeover Monday.co.uk/data, because I want to make sure that I am that I give that field the correct name. So, sorry, the internet is quite slow at home today. Okay, so if I go to the original, to the data source here, let's see, so down here, okay, table of, and so angular means combined later, no, global mean, okay, so it's the global, it's the mean temperature. Okay, but it's, believe it's a variant deviation from the corresponding mean. Yeah. So what I think I'm going to call this is, maybe I'll call this something like change in, let's see. So I'm going to bring up my little keyboard, and I want to look for a, so triangle versus mean. Okay. All right, that's good enough. So actually, I want to call this versus 1951 to 1980 average. Right. All right. So, and then I need to I want to create a date out of these two fields here. So I'm just going to create a calculated field. I'm going to call it date. And I'm going to just say make date. And then the year is going to be my year field. And then the month. And then just the number 1 for the day. Hit OK. And I think I did something wrong. Edit. Let's see. Integer. Shoot. Let's see. So, oh, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just, how have I done this before? So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this to a string and change the year to a string and then add to it a hyphen and then the month field and then a hyphen and a 1. Okay, and then, oops, and then, let's see, plus like that. And then if I just wrap this whole thing in a date, I think that'll work. Let's see. All right, there we go. So April 1880, August, December, February. Okay, so I think we're good to go there then. Right, excellent. So what I'm going to do is I've actually have a little cheat sheet here. This is a way that it's a document that I use to look at different ways to visualize time series. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move that to a different screen just so it's not in our way. So let's see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag out my date field, and I can see I have values from, let's see, so I want to do this as an exact date. So I have values for each month. I'm going to maybe put the hemisphere on the color, and let's put the temperature change. There we go. And maybe I'll make the size smaller on these. And we can see we have those 3. Maybe I'll put the hemisphere up here. So we get something like that. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll put a, actually let's just leave it like that for now. And I'll put the hemisphere on color. Okay, so this is our, this is just our line chart. Or let's say, let's see, line chart, good enough. And I could then maybe make these bars instead. So I'm going to duplicate and then maybe make it a bar chart. It's going to probably be way too hard to read. Yeah, so let me just shrink those as far down. Maybe I'll keep just the global data. And again, the size is really hard to see there, but I could put the change also on the color, and now we can see the difference in them. Not particularly great, so let's just call this global bar chart. And then I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm actually going to make it a line as well, just to see what it looks like. So, oops, not a, I'm going to do it as a line. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. So this is our global line chart. Okay. Let's see. So maybe I could look at it as, let's say if I put, let me me just default this to discrete. Let me put year here, and now let me put year here, and let's put month here. And I'm going to look at, let's maybe make this continuous, and I'm going to do average of 0. I'm going to make a circular time series. So I'm going to put the, oh no, I can't do that because that wouldn't make sense because it's a negative value. Okay, forget it. That one's not going to work. Now what I could do is let me duplicate this sheet, and I could put maybe a moving average through this. So I'm going to just duplicate that field, add a table calculation, and I want it to be a moving average. And let's say I want to do maybe like a, if I do a 1 year moving average, then this would be 11, and that's not going to be particularly useful. So if I wanted to do maybe a 10-year moving average, then this would be 119, because it's 120 months. And what does that look like then? Okay, so that's not too bad. And then maybe I'll make this a dual axis and synchronize, and I get something like that. So that's not too bad. Maybe if I duplicate that again, and this time I'm going to keep just my, okay. Now these are really funny looking because they're, let me see. These look really funny because as you're building up to 120, you've got less and less days. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create an index field, and I want to edit that, and I want it to, let's see, I want it to restart every time I get to a new hemisphere. Okay, and then I'm going to filter. Actually, I'm going to just move it to the filter. What the heck? That's annoying. Something's wrong with my view here. Why is it not letting me do that? I'll just save it. Okay, I'm just going to filter to, I need it to be at least 120, and hit OK. And now those values will still be used in the, let's see, edit table calc. This maybe didn't save it. Okay, sorry, I need to redo it. Okay, and then edit filter, at least 120. There we go. So they're still used in the calculation. We just don't see that funny looking line. So I could do the same thing here maybe. And let's see how that looks. So at least 120. Actually, it's not going to matter. I need to compute this by date. And at least 120. Okay, and there we go. So now these lines look the same. One is just no. Huh? Oh. Let me see here. About 425. Yep. Sorry, Maggie is interrupting. Okay, so I kind of like this one. That's not. It's an interesting look. Maybe I'll take hemisphere and take it off the view, and now I can see the three of them. So it looks like the northern hemisphere is contributing more. So I could take measure names off of. I could take measure names off, and I can see the northern hemisphere is contributing more to the temperature change than the southern hemisphere is. So maybe I will. Let's see, I'm just going to change my colors here. So I'm just going to make the global maybe a black, and let me just hit apply, and then I'll use, let me look at some of my Makeover Monday colors. So maybe I'll make the north, I don't want to use red or blue because that could mean like warm or cool. So maybe I'll use like a purple for the northern, and maybe, oh, I don't know, what would be a color that would go well with purple? Maybe I'll use like a blue. Oh, I just said I'm not going to use blue. Anyway, you get the idea. So you can see that there was some kind of shift here in the 1995, 1996 when the northern hemisphere started getting getting warmer at a much quicker rate than the southern hemisphere. So I kind of like that one. So I'm going to color code that line chart. All right. So where are we now? Let me switch back here. Okay. Okay. Right, so some of the other options that I want to look at then are, sorry, I'm just looking through my notes. Yeah, I don't want to look at, I wonder if we could look at a distribution by year. So what if actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take date up here and make this, I'm going to make this months. So now we have that. I'm going to put year onto detail. And I'm going to put the average on the rows. So I get a kind of a bunch of things like that, a bunch of years, which isn't really particularly interesting. So this would be by month, by year. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip these two, so year and month, and let's swap those. And now I can see by month, by year, but let me make the year discrete. Okay, yeah, that didn't help. So that's the same kind of look so now let me put that on color just so we can see what it's going to do. So we can look through the different months and see which ones are getting warmer. But this is really, for me, this is quite hard to look at. But maybe I could, I wonder if I put this in like some kind of like 4x3 grid layout. So let me create a group. So I'm going to call this my columns group. So I want to have, let's see, so we have a calendar typically has, what's a typical calendar look like? Why am I drawing a blank? Let's see. Okay, here we go. Something like this. Oh boy. What if I just purchase something? Images. Okay, so usually it has, looks like, yeah, this would probably be the more standard look. So 4 months across, 3 going down. Okay, so I want to have, so in my columns is going to be left to right. So January, February, March, and April. This is going to be group. So let's call it January through April. And then May, June, July, August. So it'd be May through August. And then October, so this would be, all right, so that's going to be the first group. So if I put that here, I should get my 4 groups across. What am I trying to do? Yeah, that's fine. And then I want to do, let's see, create group. And I'm going to call this my rows group. And then going down the view, I'm going to have January, May, September. So January, May, September. I'm just going to call it 1 for simplicity. And then February, June, October. February, June, October. That's group 2. March, July, November. Let's see. March, July, November, 3. And then these are going to be group 4. Okay, so now if I put that into my rows, I should see some small multiples there. So, oh, I forgot December rows group. Edit. So December should be with group 4. Okay, there we go. So, I don't know, it's okay. Nothing particularly great. But if maybe I'll put my moving average in there again. So add table calc, moving average. And maybe I want it to be maybe a 10-year moving average. So that has to be a 9. And I want it to restart every time I get to a new column and a new row. I think that's correct. And then let's make that a tool axis and synchronize. Okay, so now we get something like that. Let's take measure names off. Oh no, I need to leave that on. Right, so we have each of the months with the, so let me try taking month onto detail. Maybe that'll be better. There we go. Okay, so we have just kind of our moving average through the months. Now, it doesn't look like it tells me anything, so I just wasted a bunch of time, but that's okay. So I'm just going to call this my small multiples. Let's maybe look at a cycle plot. So a cycle plot would be, let's say we have year and then month. But I'm going to swap these around. And I'm going to put the change onto the rows. And then let's make the month continuous. Okay, so the idea here is which months are getting warmer. And we see they all, you can see that it looks like the kind of January, February, March, or February, March in particular are getting warmer. The summer isn't heating up as quickly as the rest of the months. Okay, so this is my cycle plot. All right, maybe we can look at another heat map. Let's just look at a regular heat map this time. And then let's make this month and just put that on color. All right, and now we can see, right, okay, so this is a color palette. Then maybe I want to use, let's see, maybe I'll use sunrise, sunset, advanced, center 0, apply. No, I don't like that one. Let's see. Let's reverse the colors, apply. That's terrible. I want to do like a red to blue. This one might not be too bad. Okay, that's not too bad. Maybe let's try that. Okay, that doesn't look very good either. So you see there's a lot of, okay, maybe this one. No, that's one I just looked at. I think that's one I looked at already. Yeah, I don't like that one. There's also, what if I tried this one? Yeah, don't like that. Maybe purple to brown. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, so the one I think looks the best, not that one, is probably, I think I like the orange to aqua the best. Okay, there we go. So that would just be our regular heat map. And that's okay. Maybe another idea would be if we put year here. No, let's make this month. I want to put year onto detail. And I want to have that here. But I want to make these each a circle. Okay, so entire view. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomize these. So random. And make this an average. And now we can see them kind of jittered, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit my random axis because I want to give them a bit more space between the two of them. So I'm going to fix it from maybe, let's say, minus 0.5, let's say, to 1.5. Let's see how that looks. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. And I'll change these to circles, and I'll put that onto color. And that didn't stick, so default properties color. And I want to do, which was the color I was using? I could maybe just do red to blue. Oh, that's not too bad. That works. So let me switch that here as well. Let's just reset. Okay, so here. So that's red to blue. Okay, that's not too bad. So that sort of spreads them out. It's still kind of hard to see which years and months go together. Let's see, we could look at, let me see here, by month and year, global. This is our, let's just call this our jitter. Maybe I'll now look at across the years. Let me just put year here. And I want to put the, let's see, a month and the value. And I just want them to be like little sparklines. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make them really small. And we get something like that. which looks okay. It's not too bad. So it gives us a little sparkline, but again, it makes it hard to see that they all look like they have the same pattern, so it's not particularly useful. So sparkline. Okay, what else? Okay, I'm trying to think what other options we might have here. All right. So somebody's asking what does using the index do? So the index is if I go back to the index, where was that? Where was I using that? Here. So the index is a counting function. So if you look here, let me put index onto the, let me just duplicate this sheet. I'll show you what it does. If I take index off of the filters, so let me just get rid of one of these because let me just get rid of this one. If I put in, I'm going to first copy index to the detail shelf, and now I can see the value. An index is a counting function. 1 second, Eva. Okay, sorry, but it's one of these counting functions. So as you go left to right, you can see it's counting the number of months, and then when it gets to the next hemisphere, it starts over again at 120. So, and when I filter by it, it's basically just hiding, because it's a table calculation, it's hiding the first 120 months. So, yeah, or first 119 months. So hopefully that explains it. Okay, so there's our sparklines. There were some other things that we could do. Let me see if I could do let me see, I think I have I wonder if we could maybe do a radar chart for this. So let me radar chart. Blackburn. Okay, I'm just bringing up the tutorial that I use for a radar chart. Okay, so I'm just going to call this radar chart. All right. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is create a field called angle, and this is going to be the running sum. Oops. Of bracket 2 times pi, and like that, divided by min, and I can post a link to this. Let's see, count distinct of month. So this should just be 12. That's fine. And I think that needs to now have another bracket, and then plus pi divided by 2 with brackets. Okay, so this is just counting the 12 months around the. It's going to give us 12 months as we go around the radar chart. Okay, running some. All right, so that is the yep. Sorry, I'm just following the blog here. And then I want to create another calculated field that is going to be distance from center. And this is simply going to be the average of our index versus that. Bye, buddy. I'll see you Wednesday. Love you. Okay. Let's see. And then the x-axis. So I'm just going to create another one called x. And this is going to be the distance from center times the cosine of the angle. Okay, and then the y is going to be the distance from center times the sine of the angle. All right, so we've got all of our views now. So we're going to take, we're going to drag angle and your dimension used to the detail. Okay, so I want angle on detail, and then our dimension is going to be our, let's see, our first calculation. So this should just be month. Okay, and then I want to set up my running sum. So I'm going to set this up to compute using date, and then x onto the x and y onto the y. So x onto the columns, y onto the rows, and we start to see something. And I think we need to also compute these using date. I think that's correct. All right, and now we start seeing some kind of view. So I'm going to change the mark type to a polygon. I don't know if this is going to work, by the way. And then we want to tell Tableau how to link up the dots. So drag, and then we're just going to put the angle onto the path shelf. And now we get something like that. All right, so where is, so December, November, January. Okay, so it's a bit off clockwise, but that's okay. All right, and then what we could do is if we put maybe the year onto the, maybe the detail. Oops, that broke everything. So this is just giving me 1 month overall. If I put that onto detail, edit table calc, and I need to do it at the month level. Edit table calc, I would do it at the month level. Oh, sorry. Yep. Spending a lot of time doing this for nothing. Okay, well, that broke. Okay, so when it doesn't break and I've spent too much time on it, usually what I'll do is I'll right click on the sheet name and just choose delete and pretend it never happened. Okay, so sorry about that. That was a bit of a mess. Somebody asked if I could do a horizon plot. I could, but I don't think it's a particularly good example in this case. So what else could I do? I could maybe change this to be an area chart and see what that looks like. Okay, that's pretty neat. Pretty neat looking. Maybe I'll go back to my, where was the one I liked here? And actually, what I could do is, if I go to Makeover Monday, oh, where'd that go? So, and let's go back. Oops, I thought I was already there. I'm trying to think where I had all of these data sets saved. So if I do that, and then I do, shoot, let me just do it in Chrome. So if I do Makeover Monday, and then I want to search for climate, I should see, so that's CO2 emissions per capita. Here we go, global temperature anomalies. I think this is the one. Yeah, so this is the same data set. So let's see what some people have done here. So, right, tale of two hemispheres. So let's see what Sarah's looks like here. So that's okay. So this is actually a different data set than what I was thinking. That's global temperatures. Shoot. Participate data sets. 2016. Sorry, I'm just trying to find, oh, there we go. This is it here. So this was actually 2016. So I need to go to Pinterest. And so back in 2016, when we were running, when Andy Cotgrave and I were running Makeover Monday, I was actually pinning every single submission. So imagine doing that for 10,000 submissions we had this year. But I need to figure out how to get to, how do I get to my pins? Oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm not quite sure why everything is so slow. So that's Makeover Monday. Makeover Monday favorites. Right. Oh, where the heck is my Pinterest board? So maybe it's this one, 32. Yeah, this has to be at 3,200 pins. So this one was pretty early on as well. So, oh gosh, I hate Pinterest. So what I'm trying to find is some of the vises from that data set. So that's week 47. I think I said it was week, what did I say it was? Week 6, I think I said. Oh God, this is going to take forever. Well, I don't know what the heck is going on here. My pins aren't showing up. Okay, well, it's going to take me forever to go. Okay, forget it. Let's see. So, where were we here? So, Tableau. Let me close that. And let me go back to this. Okay, so I guess it depends kind of on how complex I want to get now. So, what I do like about this one is it shows the switch between the northern and southern hemispheres over that time period. But what I want to be able to do is shade between these two lines. Oh, another view I was thinking was, oh shoot, what was it? Oh, dang it, I can't think of it now. Let's see, so we've got the jitter, we've got the heat map, cycle plot. We could probably also do, let's see, so if I do, what if I do every individual date, and I look at the temperature, and I change it all to circles. Let me just reduce the size of those a bit. And then I put that onto color. Yeah, so I can see something a bit, maybe a bit interesting, perhaps, maybe not, but because what I could do now is I could maybe take the, oh shoot, I know what's wrong with a lot of these is I didn't filter down to the different hemispheres. Let me see, so that has the hemisphere, that has the hemisphere, that does. Okay, so this doesn't have the hemisphere. So let me do it like, maybe like that. Okay, so the southern hemisphere, you can see the spread isn't as big as the northern hemisphere. Small multiples. So let me see, what if I put hemisphere like that? So that would be the global northern, southern. Again, it's kind of hard to see what the difference is between them. The cycle plot. Okay, so this might be better. Let's fit the entire view. Okay, so that doesn't work very well either. All right, the heat map. So this has to be broken up by hemisphere for sure. So you can see the northern hemisphere is getting darker red than the southern hemisphere has. Now overall it looks like the southern hemisphere started warming up sooner. Okay, what else was I looking at here? So the hemisphere, maybe we could put it like that. Okay, so if I put maybe a box plot on here, let's do, okay, so this whiskers, I just want that. Okay, so that doesn't really tell me a whole lot. Sparklines, I could maybe put hemisphere here. And then let me switch these back to a line chart and put that on color. Okay. Again, doesn't tell me a whole heck of a lot. Okay. Let's see. If I put it down here onto, put that on color instead. So that doesn't work. All right. What else could we do here? So I kind of like this one. So if I put hemisphere in the view, and then if I take this and I make it a, let me just do my moving average again. So actually on this particular one, I don't want to have, so that's each individual date, that's fine. So let me make this a line. And then I want this to be a moving average. And let's say we want to do a 10-year moving average, so this would be 119. And it's 119 plus the current value is where 120 comes from. And I want to do it separately for each hemisphere. Okay, and then if I make this a dual axis and synchronize, so the line should kind of draw through it, which is nice. That's what I was hoping for. I can make the line black. So that looks pretty interesting. So if I rearrange this a bit, if I would make this maybe taller, so I kind of like the look of that one. So let me just change the size of these circles ever so slightly. Okay, so that shows every month with a 10-year moving average. Okay, so I like that one, and I like this one. Okay, so what if I put, what I could do on this one is label the min or the max, and I want to do it by date. I want to label the maximum, and then the field I want to put on there is okay, so this is the change. So default properties, number format. So let's see, I want it to be, how do they have it in the original data set? Oh, no, sorry, let's go here. Yeah, see, it's hard to tell what the numbers are, so they do it by just degrees. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll set it to 1 decimal, oh no, sorry, 2 decimals, and then I'm going to put a plus sign in front of that, and like that. Okay, so now we can see the change, and I think I can add on by 1 year. Nope. Oops. Oh boy. So there's a new feature in Tableau to be able to, oh boy, what happened there? So undo. That broke something. Because I think if I extend the range, and I want to do it by maybe 20. Come on. Boy, this is slow. 20 years. Okay, so that doesn't look very good, so let me get rid of that. All right, so let me hide that. I think maybe I'll just go with this one. And what I'm going to do then is when I format this, well, first off, I'm gonna uncheck show header, and I want to buffer this a bit so my label can go to the end of my line. So I'm just going to put a reference line in. Let's see, a constant line for my date, and I want it to be, let's see, 2030. So that might be enough room. Maybe if I make it 20, 35. Okay, so the reason I'm doing that is because I want my label to be to the right and like that. Yeah, to the right and above. Yeah, so I like that. So that just gives me a bit of spacing. So I'm going to get rid of the value. Sorry, get rid of the label. Get rid of the. Okay, so none. Okay, there we go. So we can see the northern hemisphere has contributed more to the overall global change in temperature compared to the southern hemisphere. Okay, so let's just keep doing some cleanup here. I'm going to get rid of that. Let's see. I'm going to just edit my aliases. I just like having them all in capitals. Okay, I think that's good. And so I'm going to rename this. So this is going to be my, let's see. So what I'm going to do is go here. I can't get my tooltip to work, or so I'm just going to just copy that, or no, copy that one. And I'm just going to rename the field. There we go. So I'm trying to, I don't like that. So variance to, let's see. Okay, maybe something like that. So now when I hover over, I can see my moving average, and I can see my value. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to now work on my tooltips a bit. Okay, so let's do the hemisphere and the date. All right. And then the variance, and then the, let's call this the, let's just hit OK. I'm going to save this field. And this was our, what did we make this? I made this so it's 120, so 120 would be my 10-year moving average. Okay, so you see now in my tooltip it says moving average of variance to, oh, so what the heck is going on here? Tooltip. So nope, that's not what I want. There we go, 10-year moving average, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, and 10-year moving average, so I need to go ahead and format that as well. So 10-year moving average, default properties, number format, 2 decimals, custom, put a plus in the front. Okay. Now the question is, maybe it should go, I wonder if it should maybe actually go to orange because of the sun. So let me try changing the default properties color. Maybe it should be blue to orange. Let's see, orange to blue, and then I can reverse it. go something like that. That looks more like, I think more like the sun than the other one did. Okay, so I'm going to my label. I'm going to maybe make this maybe 11 and maybe make it Tableau semi-bold. Okay, so that looks good. So this would be our 10-year moving average. And now I need to look at how I'm going to word this. So I'm going to do a new dashboard, and I'm going to get rid of my mobile layout. And I know I need it to be wide and short. So let me just try that. I'm going to drag this sheet on and just say 0, 0, 1,600. Get rid of the, oh, should be, no, 12, this should be 1,200. Okay, so that looks something like that. I probably could even make it wider. Maybe 16, even 1,600. That's really wide for what I would normally do, but that's okay. And I'm going to format this, and I need to figure out, I don't think I need my column dividers. So I think I can get away with it like that. I want my 0 line to be a solid line. And maybe, wonder if I can make it darker. Yeah, something like that. The other option is to put a reference line on here, but maybe I'll wait on that. And then the layout, I want to set the inner padding to about 20. Turn on my caption. So our data source was, let's see, where was it here? The data source is Nasser Goddard Institute for Space Sciences. Okay. Inspired by. And then I'm just going to get these two names. So okay, so something like that. Forgot to shrink the font down, make it lighter, and bring it down the line. Okay, so now the question is, I don't think I need to somehow make these more prominent. So maybe I'm going to format those and maybe make them like 12 point, and maybe make them Tableau medium as well. Okay, so let me make that a bit bigger. So something like that. So now I need to come up with, again, these axes look terrible, so I'm going to format my axis. It's weird that it starts at like 1896. So, no, I want to edit my axis. And I'm going to say my tick marks, I want them fixed. I want my start date to be 01, 01, and every, I don't know, 20 years. How's that look? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, because that takes us up to 2020. Okay, but that goes to 2040, which I don't want. So, and this is, yeah, that's fine. That's okay. But if I fix the X, I just don't like how it's showing. So let's make this 2039. I just want to get rid of, okay, there we go, good. I just wanted to get rid of 2040 on there. That was annoying me. Okay, so what else could we do then? I think that's probably it. My tooltips look good. It's Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, Global. So now I need to come up with the title. So since 1880, the world has warmed by 0.8484. Oh, shoot, and what's the degree symbol? Let's see, is it? I need to find the degree symbol, technical symbols. Okay, one big idea because those are emojis. Compared to the 1951 to 1980 mean. Okay, maybe we'll make that like, I don't know, 18 point. And I could say something like the Northern Hemisphere has warmed so what percentage? So that's 71% faster. Let's see what's going on here. This is just a symbol. I think I just need to find a degree symbol. That's fine. Maybe I could make this smaller. Okay, since 1980, the world has warmed by, I think it's 1880. Yeah, since 1880, the world has warmed by 0.84 degrees Celsius compared to the 1951 to 1980 mean. The northern hemisphere has warmed 70% faster. Faster than the southern hemisphere. Okay, great. I think I'm okay with that. So let me just hop over and see if anybody has any questions. Let's see. 10 years tied 12 months if the data is pivoted to be 1 month per row. Can you explain? Yeah. Each dot is it? Yeah. Yeah, so on here, each dot is a month. So if I made that a time series, it would just be super jagged. So I'm just using the dots and then plotting a line through the middle of it. Okay. So I'm just going to get this published up on Tableau Public. So the easiest way to do that is to first extract the data. So I need to tell Tableau where to save that. So data 2021 and save. Okay, and then once I have the extract, I can go ahead and publish that up to Tableau Public. So Right. All right. So it is degrees Celsius, not degrees Fahrenheit. So if I go back to, I believe it is at least. Let me just check again. So let's see. I am 99% sure that is degrees Celsius because I don't know why. I doubt very, very much that they would measure the temperature in Fahrenheit. Let's see. So let's see. I'm just trying to see if one of these pictures for citations. Okay. Frequently, let's see if look in the frequently asked questions. Basic terminology. 30-year period. Okay. Yeah, temperature is degrees Celsius. Yeah. So maybe I should make that variance. So I'm going to call this, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. That's fine, I could just do it here. Variance to variance to average temperature. Okay, there we go. So I think that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll drag this over a bit so my axis has a little more room there. Yeah, so that's it. If you have any other questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and I can maybe try to answer them later. But otherwise, yeah, everybody have a good day. Bye. Hello.